Hello, welcome. Come on in, have a seat. My name is Dan. This video is going to be about a lathe project I had an idea for. I want to turn 2x4 into a Christmas tree decoration, like a centerpiece or to go on an end stand, and I want it to be lighted. I have my turning blank all glued up and ready to go. The first thing that I'm going to do is drill holes in the end for the lighting before I put it to turn it. And I was going to trim these ends off squared, but it occurs to me now this might actually be too big to fit in the bandsaw. If I can fit it in the bandsaw, I'm going to trim them off. If not, I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to do. So let's get to trimming and drilling. All right, step 2 is to start drilling the holes in this. And I'm doing it before I turn it because I'm making a Christmas tree shape and there's going to be no way to flip it around on the lathe and secure it in the chuck because that's just going to be the tip of the Christmas tree. I'm going to drill, with any luck, a 3-inch hole for the base and then probably a 2-inch hole and maybe a 1-inch hole. And the idea is I'm just going to run like some Walmart LED lights up in there. Okay, so as it turns out, none of my tools are big enough to be able to just drill right into the end of this thing. So I'm going to have to chuck it up in the lathe and work with it from there. But also, it's too big diagonally to fit on the lathe. So I have to trim these 4 corners off, which I sort of thought I wanted to do anyway, but it turns out I have to. So that, I'm just going to 45-degree on the table saw, zip, 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 should be all set. All right, well, this has all the makings of an enormous clusterfuck. So let's get to it. So the Christmas tree 2x4 experiment was mostly a failure. I mean, you always learn something, but you can see there's this big chunk taken out of it right there. You won't be able to see this on the video, but the end grain areas are really, really, really rough, which I kind of expected, but I didn't think that would make a big difference. But this chunking and tearing is a problem, and that's 2x4s just tend to tear and chip. It's possible with proper gouges, properly sharpened, I might be able to get around that, but I'm not there with my gouge sharpening yet. And the carbide tip scrapers are just going to tear 2x4 material all to pieces. But I have a backup plan. My local hardwood supplier has a bunch of this lovely S4S pine that's been on clearance for a while at $1.50 a board foot. If I'm doing the math right in my head, this is only going to come to a few dollars more, like literally maybe $2 more than using the 2x4s. The other problem with the 2x4s was drilling the hole, and something this long was just impossible. But if I make a bunch of round blanks from this, pre-drill the holes in them, this is my plan. Pre-drill the holes in them, basically, and then I can round cut them on the bandsaw. So I'll have a bunch of rings. I can glue the rings together as a blank and then use the jaw chuck on the inside hole of the end of the blank and do my turning that way. It's going to mean a bit more prep time, but I think it will make this thing go much easier. And I've already gotten decent results turning a piece of this stuff. So it's not as terry. It's a lot more buttery than the 2x4 wood is. So that's the plan. That's what we're going to go with. So I'm going to cut up a bunch of these into squares, drill holes in the squares. No, cut them into squares, cut them round on the bandsaw at different diameters, and then drill out the centers. That's the order of operation, and then glue a stack. So let's see where we go from there, okay? All right, so those 4 boards have given me enough blanks to do 3 trees, plus a little bit extra. I might cut these smaller ones down to go a little bit taller and make the tips. I think I might actually do that. We'll see about that, because these, I don't think I'm going to run the hole all the way up through these. But anyway, step two is to cut holes in the center of these to round cut them. Sorry, drill holes in the center of these to round cut them. So let's do that. Okay, so some lessons learned there. If I'm cutting rounds smaller than 5 inches, I need to octagon them first and then clean them up, or use a much thinner blade than this one. This one's already pretty thin. So I'm going to go, this stack is just about as tall as my initial Christmas tree, which is, I want to do one more of these, but I lost my pin. My pin fell out and I don't know where it went, which is annoying. Well, I suppose I can always use the drill bit. Anyway, let me do one more of these ones, and then I'll have 4 of each. Oh, and the last 2, I'm not going to put holes through. Right. Well, lessons learned there, huh? Like I said, if I do more than a few of these, I'm going to have to make a jig for doing this part. Okay, and now the easy part, the part that I think I can't fuck up, the glue up of the blank. Yes, I realize I just jinked myself there, but you know, life is what it is. Sometimes you jinx yourself. These 2 fit. All right. I don't have to use my enormous clamps. I mean, this should be fairly straightforward. Put on the glue, line them up roughly with each other, and then glue on the next piece. Clamp the whole pile together. I'll just have to remember when I'm turning that these holes are in here so I don't blow out the piece. I'm hoping that won't be an issue. Now I want to put the glue on this one. We don't need it going outside the edge. I think this might actually be easier to do upside down. Do the little ones first. Then it'll be easier to set the hole alignment, but just do this like this for now. There's definitely a lot more prep time than the 2x4s. That is for certain. You know, and I'm thinking, can I do this quickly enough to make it worth it? But I don't feel like I need to make a huge profit off of these right now. I mean, I want to make some profit. But doesn't mean I need to make $40 an hour either. I mean, my thought is selling the unlit ones. The unlit ones will be easier because I don't have to drill a hole in the center. But I'm thinking of selling the unlit ones for 50 and the lit ones for 80. But a lot of that difference is just going to be in materials cost because the LEDs are going to be, I don't know, I'm going to assume 20 bucks. I might be able to get them for less than that at Walmart, but let's just assume 20 bucks right now, okay? All right. Little birthday cake here. Let me flip this over for a second if I can do it without fucking everything up. Kind of. Actually, those holes look pretty well aligned. Not gonna lie, that needs to shift over just a little bit. Okay. So the holes down the inside look pretty well aligned. Let us clamp this. Or so gently at first. And skew the whole thing. And one on this side. Oops, see, you go to tighten it and things want to shift around. You have to be careful of. Let's check the hole again. It's a little bit off. This piece right here. One. This piece right here. Here we go. It's kind of look like a pine birthday cake, doesn't it? Okay, that's pretty square. Tighten it down. All right, now that is going to set until at least tomorrow. I definitely want to give this thing 24 hours before I throw it on the lathe. At least 24 hours. So I think The actual turning will be its own video, the turning and reveal of the final product.